Shalom Lakam Yasharallah. This is Zaquan Shapat, Elder Judge Parazah, coming to you right before the Sabbath falls upon us here in Mexico. Now the Sabbath for us will be starting in about half an hour, give or take. You know, because we're in the tropics and we're also up in the mountains. However, on the east coast of America, the Sabbath will be starting around 10 something. All right, late 9 p.m., early 10 p.m. tonight, Friday, July 28th. All right. Now, there's a so-called Hebrew Israelite Summit that's supposed to be going on tomorrow in Delaware. And the Sabbath will begin in Delaware around, again, late 9 o'clock, early 10 o'clock. All right, but in those hours. But what I almost guarantee you is that the so-called elders, the so-called leadership that's supposed to be in charge and making the decisions, I can almost guarantee you that they had a meeting about the Sabbath and the vendors and people selling things on the Sabbath. And I can guarantee you almost that they didn't want to wait until the Sabbath started because it's for them to push their agenda, to have the people participating in selling things for the tables and the booths that they've sold to have vendors. Right. Now, that's a normal thing, but what is not normal is to compromise the integrity of the Sabbath as a so-called leader of the Jewish, Israelite, Hebrew people that's supposed to be founded upon the Torah. So if you're going to this event today or tomorrow, I want you to go outside. Once you see those tables coming out and they make the announcement that they're going to start selling things on July 29th, 2024, all right? And so-called Saturday, I want you to go outside and I want you to take a look up at the sky. And I want you to look with your own eyes to see, is it dark outside? You know, I want you to look with your own eyes and see, is the Sabbath over? The Sabbath is over when it's dark outside. So is there light in the sky? Is it dusky? Is it bright? Can you still see, you know, with your naked natural eye, things that are in front of you? You know, 4 meters, 2 meters. Can you see across the street? What does the sky look like? Is it dark outside? Because the Sabbath again starts when it's dark outside on so-called Friday night. On a so-called Saturday night, all right? It's over when it's dark outside. But the so-called leadership, which is not really righteous leadership at all, they compromise the Torah, unfortunately. I wish that they wouldn't. I pray that they repent, and I pray that they come back into covenant with one of the strongest covenants that Yahweh, the Most High, made with us, which was the covenant of the Sabbath day. But if they are encouraging people, allowing people to violate the Sabbath by buying and selling before the Sabbath is over, this is an extreme and an extremely disrespectful and dishonorable position for them to take. But I can almost guarantee you, because I've sat in on the meetings that these brothers have had, and I've participated in the meetings that these brothers have had, and myself and Elder Judge Nathaniel have spoken up as voices of reason to tell the brothers, no, we cannot violate the Sabbath. We cannot charge people for this event on the Sabbath. But in our absence, they have, had events get compromised on the Sabbath by heating up food before the sun was over, before the sun was set, things of that nature. But in our absence from this group of brothers who have diverse doctrines about the Sabbath, diverse doctrines about the new moon, diverse doctrines about when the holy days are supposed to be, which is a violation of this Torah itself. So in our absence, away from these brothers, things have gone, in a direction that is very disunifying in terms of being one with the Most High. And we cannot be one with each other to any significant amount of mission without being one with the Most High. And we cannot only be one with the Most High by keeping His laws, commandments, and statutes. So you have to be careful who you associate yourself with. As we see in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, it says, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Well, if we have men that were given the covenant, unlike Babylon, men that were given the law, unlike Babylon, and men that are violating the Torah, just like Babylon, and men that are encouraging people to break the Sabbath, just like Babylon, well, the Bible tells us we shouldn't be partakers of the sins that Babylon is committing. how much more shall we distance ourselves from the sins and the violations of the Torah and the violations of the Sabbath that our own brothers are committing under the guise of leadership, all right? People say Yah over everything. That includes profit. That includes convenience. That includes money. That includes products, goods, and services on the holy days where such things are not allowed. So we simply cannot allow men in a way that is against the Torah. We cannot do that because that is the mindset and the mentality and the lackadaisical, laissez-faire attitude that led us into captivity, that led us into Babylon, that led us into Assyria, and that led us into the transatlantic and trans-Indian Ocean and this trans-Pacific slave trade of our people being scattered from Israel, scattered from our homeland throughout the four corners of the earth in captivity, bondage, and servitude under the Gentiles. So now we serve the Most High, we keep his covenant. All right, so once this event happens, this so-called summit, once it happens, and we see that these violations of the Sabbath, and it's apparent to you that they've taken place, and it's apparent to you that it took place under the eye of leadership that is not respectful of the covenant and the laws of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now we have to figure out, what do we need to do to correct this situation? Are the officers, so-called officers, going to speak up? Are the so-called Levites, the so-called priests, are they going to speak out? Or will they be partakers of this horrible, atrocious, wicked, filthy, diabolical, demonic, and wicked, gentilic violation of the covenant of the seventh day of rest instituted from creation? And it comes a time when you will have to choose whether you will serve Yahweh, no matter how many friends or associates or members you lose, or whether you will serve Satan, whether you will serve disobedience, because who you choose to serve, that's whose servant you are. So if you choose to serve Satan and disobedience, you are his servant. If you choose to take a stand for righteousness before this violation takes place and after this violation takes place, and you decide to walk in obedience no matter what the crowd is doing, well, guess what? Now you are a servant of the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So think, meditate, watch, observe, record, and pay attention to what's going on at this upcoming summit, and speak up, cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Show the house of Jacob and Israel their sins and their transgressions, no matter if it's an elder, or if it's an officer, if it's a lay person or not. So with that, I bid you Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High bless, protect, and guide you and your household. Shalom Lakah.